Okay, first lesson. Welcome to Introduction to Manual Transmissions, Drive Lines, Drive Shafts, Axles, everything. First lesson, this is a Subaru, it's all-wheel drive. Here's the issue. The kid goes off-roading, as you can tell. This particular all-wheel drive needs tires. So this tire you'll notice, it's pretty bald really. It's pretty hammered. You know, like 2/32 or less, and then definitely way less. This might actually be due to a little underinflation. I got a TPMS light on it, and I believe it's gonna be this tire that's a little low. And then also we probably have a little bit of alignment type of wear. But also I know he's been getting stuck, and if you notice the other front tire, it's got a little bit more, and the rears are actually a little bit better. So although not a ton. So this is the thing. Because this is all-wheel drive, we need to replace 4 tires. We could get away with reusing these 2 and replacing 2 if it was front-wheel drive. But being all-wheel drive, this tire goes through this axle, goes to this differential, to this axle, to this tire. So if this tire and this tire are different sizes or a different circumference meaning this, one will travel faster than the other, and this can make up for it, but it's not going to be really happy. So if this one is like, let's say that we replace this one and it's new, it's bigger, it's going to turn this axle a little slower. And if this one's a little worn, it's going to turn this axle a little faster, meaning this rear differential is going to have to constantly be making up for a speed difference. And there's a limit. It's typically 3%. It's not a 3% tire size difference. It's 3% circumference of the tire difference. So even if this was the same size as this, but this was new and this was worn, that may very well exceed our 3%. So, safer bet, if it's an all-wheel drive, you do all 4 tires, but I want you to understand really extensively why you don't do just 2 tires or 1 tire. Now, if you understand there would be a differential in side to side in this rear differential if we had different tires. It's the same front to rear. So we've got this rear drive shaft, which goes up to the Subaru transaxle. And if we had, let's say I were to replace the 2 front tires, the 2 front tires would spin slower than the 2 rear tires that are worn. That would actually make a speed differential between the front axles and the rear drive shaft. So that would be constantly making the differential within this transaxle work to make up the speed difference. So again, if it's going to exceed 3% circumference from a front to a rear, we would need to replace them in a set. So dummy explanation, you drive a Subaru or a similar all-wheel drive, all-time all-wheel drive, not a part-time all-wheel drive or a four-wheel drive, you need to replace all 4. However, let's say that this car were to have close to new tires and one of them were to get a nail. As long as they're going to be a similar tread wear and you use the exact tire brand and exact tire size, you'd probably be good. I mean, that would definitely be within 3%. And if you really wanted to know, you would actually have to mark a point and measure the circumference, I guess in whatever unit you want, but you could do it like in millimeters if you want to be really precise. And then you could compare and keep it within 3%. So, and again, if we were to replace this tire and leave this tire, that would make a speed difference here. So this transaxle is interesting because it's got a differential for left to right, but it also has a way to differentiate front to rear. And they're all a little bit different, but on a lot of them, it's a viscous coupling. So that viscous coupling would get potentially overheated if it was a front to rear difference, whereas the actual differential would get overheated if it was a left to right difference, and the same in this one. If it was a left to right difference, this would get overheated. So it's just you know, for your own thorough and extensive knowledge, that's the whole real story why we really have to do tires as a set if they're at different wear points. So, hope it helps.